Okay, today's lesson. Today's lesson we're going to be talking about adverbs. Okay. Today we're going to be talking about adverbs. Okay. Unfortunately, there are many people that do what we call misplaced adverbs. All right. Misplaced modifiers in general, they're called misplaced modifiers. But adverbs are one of the kinds of modifiers for a sentence. All right. So it's very easy to recognize adverbs because there are many kinds of adverbs, but they're all being used as modifiers, except for the adverb of place. The adverb of place, you can find that as being one of the main parts of a sentence, the adverb of place. But the other adverbs, they are modifying either the sentence as a whole or modifying words in the sentence. So you're going to notice what an adverb is. You're going to recognize where it is because your sentence is actually complete without the adverb when it's used as a modifier. I'm not talking about the adverb of place because the adverb of place can actually be a part of the main sentence. All right, but the other kinds of adverbs that are being used as modifiers, well, modifiers, they're actually things that are added to a sentence that changes the meaning a little bit, increasing the meaning, clarifying the meaning. It makes a type of change. So it's not very far from the meaning of modify. To modify means to change. In this case, it's the change that is being made is extra information that's being added. When you add a modifier, you're adding extra information to a sentence. Okay, so an adverb can be a modifier. And so that's what we're going to take a look at because an adverb actually can modify many words, including the sentence as a whole, but it also can modify many words. Now, it's different from an adjective. Like an adjective is used to modify a noun. An adjective is describing a noun. Okay, but when we talk about an adjective or we talk about different parts of speech, each part of speech has a specific job in a sentence. But with adverbs, because they can modify so many different words and including the sentence, the modifier is the one type of word that can move around to 5 different places in a sentence. So that's what we want to take a look at. We want to take a look at the 5 different positions that an adverb can take in a sentence. All right. Like I said, for instance, if it's an adjective, we know where it's going to be. All right, it's going to be before the noun that is modifying, unless it's a main part of the sentence, because an adjective also can be a main part of the sentence, but it's connected with the noun, even if there is what we call a verb to be between it. Like if I say, he is happy. Well, happy is an adjective, but it's also still describing he. It's a pronoun he, but the pronoun he is referring to the noun. So the actual adjective is indirectly talking about the noun, and the pronoun is representing. It's in the position of the sentence representing the noun instead of us saying, like I could say Jack is happy, John is happy, but I also can say he is happy. So he is just representing who? Representing Jack or John or whoever the he is. And the same thing, whether it's he, she, it, we, you, they, these are pronouns and they are representing nouns. That's why when you think of the word pronoun, you can see that a pronoun is representing a noun. It's a word that represents a noun. So when you use an adjective, okay, for instance, he is happy, then still the happy as the adjective is trying to describe the noun which the pronoun represents. Okay, so let's take a look now. We're not talking about adjectives today, but we're talking about adverbs, okay? So let's take a look, all right? Like I said, we're talking about adverbs. Okay, so we're talking about adverbs that they will actually move. They have the possibility of moving to 5 different positions in a sentence. So let's talk about each one. All right, and first let's talk about the reason why it moves to 5 different places, okay? So an adverb can describe an adjective. Okay, so in that case, it's going to go before the adjective. All right, and okay, and I could make it, generally plural. Adverbs can describe, okay, can describe adjectives. I'll make that plural as well. All right, even though at this particular time, we're only talking about one that we're going to use in a sentence as an example. All right. And then, because I put the S, because actually, if I didn't put the S, adverbs, then I should be saying an adverb if we're only talking about one. So I just put the S to make life easier. All right. So adverbs, okay, can describe verbs. Now, when adverbs describe verbs, it's actually the main job of an adverb. Okay, that's why if you look, you can see that add, okay, plus verb, right, equals the word adverb. All right, so it's similar to saying an adjective plus a verb, right, equals adverb. Now, that's not, exactly technically, what it is, but I'm trying to get you to see where the part of the word add comes from, like the similar root as adjective. All right, an adjective describes nouns, but an adverb describes verbs. So you can, just to help you to remember, the main job of an adverb is to describe verbs. That's the main job. So if you look at the word itself, you can see adverb almost as though you're seeing part of the word adjective being combined with the word verb to create the word adverb. Okay, so that should help you to remember that the main job of an adverb is to describe verbs. Okay, now also, okay, adverbs can describe adjectives, adverbs can describe verbs, and also adverbs can describe other adverbs. Okay, and then adverbs can describe sentences. Okay, so if you look, you can see, all right, when it's describing an adjective, it's going to be before an adjective. When it's describing a verb, it's going to be before the verb, except for the verb to be. It can actually go after it as well. All right, and then we have adverbs can describe other adverbs, and adverbs can describe sentences. So you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, but I'm also going to explain how we get 5. All right, let's take a look at some examples for each one, just so it can be very clear. The best way to understand anything is through examples. So let's take a look at an adverb describing an adjective. All right, so let's say he is very fat. Okay, so you can see here that fat is an adjective, Okay, and so fat, before fat is very, and very is an adverb. Okay, so here the adverb very is describing how fat. Okay, very fat. All right, so you can see that adverbs can describe adjectives. Okay, now let's take a look at an adverb describing a verb, which is the main job of an adverb, as I mentioned. All right, so I'll say, he quickly ran across the street. Okay, so you can see here, ran is a verb, and so quickly is an adverb. All right, most of the adverbs that you probably will see and recognize very easily are the ones that end with ly. All right, because quick is an adjective, but quickly is an adverb. So when we add ly to many adjectives, we will be creating an adverb in many cases. All right, so remember that. Happy, adjective. Happily, adverb. So you'll find that many adverbs have ly, but not all. Okay, you'll find that in some cases it will not end, but that's a good indication because many of them do end with ly. Okay, so that should help you to recognize them when they have ly on the end. All right, let's take a look at the next one. Okay, adverbs can describe other adverbs. Okay, so let me say he very happily accepted the gift. Okay, you can see here happily as a clear indication of that being an adverb, but also I put another adverb before it, very, saying exactly how happily, how happily did he do it? All right, so he accepted the gift. All right, so you can see, accepted is the verb. And so we have the adverb happily describing the verb. And don't make the mistake that some people make. They use the adjective when they should be using the adverb. Okay, because if you're going to be describing a verb, then it should be an adverb. It should not be an adjective. An adjective describes nouns. Okay, now let's take a look at the last one here. All right, of course, you're wondering how do we get 5? I will explain that as well. All right, so adverbs can describe sentences, right? So let's make a sentence, all right? Okay, let's see here. Okay, I'm going to use the same one that we had above just to show you that I can actually move, and I have to explain to you why as well, that we can actually move an adverb that was describing a verb and move it till it describes the sentence. And I also want you to understand the difference here. So that's good. I'm going to use the same sentence here that you see above. Excuse me. Okay, so here you can see that quickly is at the end of the sentence. All right, at the end of the sentence, instead of before the verb, is at the end of the sentence. So you need to understand what's the difference between these two sentences. There are not too many people who know what's the difference between these two sentences. They know that you can say either one and either one is correct, but they don't know when and why. Like, why should I put it at the end of the sentence as opposed to before the verb? All right, and there's a reason for that. All right, so if I say he ran across the street quickly, if I'm modifying the whole sentence, that means that is something describing the man, he, and how he ran. So if I'm describing both of them, then that means that it's actually a natural attribute of the subject of the sentence. It's normal for him to run quickly. You know, like he ran quickly, yes, but also he is a quick runner. I understand that because I modified both the subject and the verb, which are the two main parts of the sentence as a whole. Of course, you know, we have the subject and the predicate. And so the whole sentence is being modified by the adverb, which means that now it's also the subject and the verb together, because I'm modifying the whole sentence, that quickly is modifying. So again, like I said, it's natural for that man to run quickly. Now, in general, because it says he, we really don't know if it was best to put it at the end of the sentence or it's best to put it before the verb. If I change the subject, then you can see where it's more important to put it before the verb or more important to put it at the end of the sentence. All right. So I put he, but if I change he, I'm going to change it just so you can see. All right. Just so you can see that when you really don't have that much of a choice anymore. All right. All right, you see how I changed this to the old man quickly ran across the street. See, because now I'm modifying the action because it only happened during that particular time. It's not really normal or natural for the old man to run quickly, but maybe there was a truck coming or something like that there. So at that particular time, the old man ran quickly, but it's not natural for the old man to run quickly. So I'm modifying the verb only, but not modifying the whole sentence because it's not a natural attribute of the old man. So it wouldn't be normal for me to say the old man ran quickly. It wouldn't be natural for me to say the old man ran across the street quickly because it's not really normal for the old man to run quickly, but it's something that happened at a particular time for a certain reason. So it would be more appropriate or more normal for me to say the young man. Okay, in this case, the young man ran across the street quickly. And that's more natural, okay, for me to say. All right, so if you have a choice, you need to think about that. Was that a particular thing that happened only at that given time? Or is it something that always happens with that particular subject? Let's say a certain person doesn't like gifts. So if you said he happily took the gift, you know, that's normal because the man is not usually happy to take a gift. Just that time he happily took the gift. But if he's always happy to receive a gift, then you'll say, you know, he accepted the gift happily, you know, because it's something that he always does. So you can attribute that or describe the one who took the gift as well as something that he did happily. All right, so those are 4 different positions for the adverb. But the 5th would be that it's possible if the adverb is at the end of the sentence, it's also possible to put it at the beginning of the sentence. Okay, so that's the 5th position. Okay, it could be at the end of the sentence or at the beginning of the sentence if it's for the sentence as a whole. Now you need to know why. Why would I put quickly at the beginning of the sentence? Well, there are 2 major reasons. Well, one could be that it's more important, all right? The issue of it being quickly is something that's more important. So you want the reader to see that right away. So you're putting emphasis, you're emphasizing it by putting it at the beginning. When it's at the end, it's like it gets lost in the sentence, not really completely lost, but it's like just added information with no major importance. But when you put it at the beginning, it's very important. If you say quickly, the young man ran across the street, you can see the first thing that hits your mind and hits your ear is that it was quickly. It was done quickly. So that shows you it's very important. Now, the other reason why you might put it at the beginning of the sentence is because you have two modifiers for the sentence. All right, let's say the young man ran across the street on the 25th of November. Let's just say that's another modifier, on the 25th of November, a prepositional phrase, on the 25th of November. So it's normal to put the shortest modifier at the beginning of the sentence and the longer modifier at the end of the sentence. So that's why you would say quickly, the young man ran across the street on the 25th of November. All right, so that would be the other reason. One could be for the importance, and the other could be because you have two modifiers, one at the beginning of the sentence and one at the end. Now, someone might, if they find that the date of when that happened is more important, it's possible to put the longer modifier at the beginning of the sentence and the shorter one at the end, if it's an issue of which modifier is more important and which modifier you want to focus on, which one you want the people to read first or see first or hear first. Okay, so that's the end of our lesson about adverbs. So be cautious and careful about that. All right, if you move your modifier anywhere else, it will be called a misplaced modifier. You have 5 positions that you can put the adverb, but only 5. Okay, so don't put your adverb before, let's say, a noun. That would be the wrong place. It would be misplaced modifier. Okay, and you can't have it too far away from the word that it is modifying. Okay, so that's the end for our lesson for today on adverbs. Okay, so practice that. And if this is an online class, a video class, do your homework, okay, and either send it to me, okay, or if you come into class, bring it with you next class so I can check them and correct them if necessary. Okay, thank you. Enjoy your day, and I'll see you next class.